GX Nation. Just wanted to touch base with you real quick today. The new Lexus 2022 LX has been previewed, has come out today, and it looks pretty good. I know that this is mostly a GX crowd and that not many of us are going to drive an LX, especially in an overlanding situation, but it's interesting to us. Look, they're based on the Toyota Land Cruiser, which has been around forever. They're known for being able to drive them 500,000 miles, change the oil maybe every 20,000 miles under a tree in an African desert. The things are bulletproof. So they're interesting vehicles, but the Lexus LX obviously is an upscale version of that. They recently decommissioned or stopped selling the Land Cruiser here in the United States, and they're only going to be selling the Lexus format of that vehicle, which is obviously, got nice bells and whistles on it. Probably not going to see too many of them off-road here in the States, which is unfortunate, but, it's still an interesting vehicle. So I just wanted to go over a couple of observations that I have on the vehicle. I mean, obviously, look, first of all, it's a nice looking vehicle. It's an evolution of the vehicle. I wouldn't say that it is a revolution of the vehicle, but it certainly is a good looking vehicle. I don't like the fact that it kind of reminds me of the Infiniti large SUV, but that's just the back half. But anyway, I think it's a decently good looking vehicle with some caveats that I'll go over. But look, first of all, it's interesting to me that they're showing this thing blistering the desert. I mean, they're clearly targeting a more off-road audience with this thing, or at least they're giving the audience the message that this thing is capable off-road, which it is. All of us know that, right? It's incredibly capable, but let's be honest. If you're going to spend $90,000 on an SUV like the Lexus, you're probably not going to be taking it off-road. Most people are going to be treating this as a pavement princess. We get that, right? But anyway, it's interesting that the marketing is starting to focus more on the off-road aspects. Now, if we scroll down the page here and let's click into this particular section, again, hey, more off-road chops here. It's interesting that they've got, again, the combination of both street chops as well as off-road stuff. So I'm going to play the video here. Wanted to show it to you just real quick. A couple of observations here. Ooh, sexy. I guess I'm in Hong Kong or something like that. Life Uncharted, I guess.
Life is more interesting when it isn't mapped out.
That's deep. Life is more interesting when it's not mapped out. Again, though, it is interesting that they're starting to show more and more of this off-road capability. They're starting to show people living outdoors, which I know a lot of auto manufacturers are starting to do. But it's interesting to me that they're taking the LX and they're kind of selling it like an off-road vehicle, which we all know that it is, but most people who buy it don't know that. And so are they really buying into this marketing campaign? I don't know. It's just an observation.
When you have the freedom to drop everything.
I don't know about y'all, but this is how I roll. When I'm off-road, I definitely take the T-set, China, Crystal, the whole bit. Yeah, that's how I roll.
And try anything.
Now, I don't know if you noticed it, but, and I'm going to come back to this, but the new grille on that thing. All right, so here's an interesting shot. Now, I know they're going to be selling this thing in the United States, but they're also going to be selling it in the Middle East. And I'll be honest with you, those folks over in the Middle East, they really love to take out these Land Cruisers in the desert and just blister the sand dunes, right? Even roll them. I guess they got so much money over there, they don't really care if they roll it. They just like pick up another one and go drive it. But it's interesting to me that they've chosen to show this thing, blistering up these sand dunes here when, again, clearly, right, most people are not going to be using it in this way. And again, it goes back to the fact that they're showing this thing as being an off-road vehicle.
To follow your heart, not a script.
People having fun out in the nature. Ooh, I have friends, I'm in the city. Did you see that grill? Like, honestly, can anybody tell me what size Allen wrench I used to get that thing off on day one? Thing is awful.
This is the power of the reimagined Lexus LX.
Again, shots of it blistering through the desert.
It is entirely new.
Now, I don't know if you noticed that last shot, but that's a different grill than the big bling bling grill that we're seeing at the very beginning. That's more of something like the F Sport. I guess it is the F Sport because that's what it says on the side of the car there. So I guess you have two options for your grille. You can either get the bling bling chrome model, or you can see the more sporty version on the F Sport. I did read that the F Sport and the luxury models are the ones that actually come with 3 rows. The base model, if you can call it that, only comes with 2 rows and seating for 5. So if you want that 3rd row, you're going to have to upgrade.
From the ground up, fitted with a more powerful.
Thing is ugly. Sorry, it is. It looks like they tacked on some metal bars to the front of that car, and like, ugh.
Engine, yet retaining its legendary body-on-frame platform design.
Now, I will say I'm glad that they kept this as a body-on-frame vehicle. You know, from an engine perspective, this thing has the 3.5 liter twin turbo V6, and that's a huge change for the Land Cruiser. It's been a V8 vehicle forever and ever. This year they changed it to the 3.5 liter twin turbo V6, and for you GX fans, this is really important because the new GX is most likely going to include that 3.5 liter twin turbo V6. Now, this thing is supposed to crank out more horsepower. It's also supposed to be lighter, and they're saying that it's reliable. You know, it's only been out a couple of years, so I guess only time will tell, but gosh, kind of interesting that a twin turbo V6 under the hood of an LX or a GX. I guess we'll have to see. But, you know, hey, I think we will all appreciate the increase in horsepower. It also comes with a 10-speed transmission, which, you know, for those of us that are in GX, we're stuck with 6 gears on the transmission. I'd love to have a 10-speed transmission. That would be great. So I do appreciate them modernizing the transmission. Now, they do say that this new platform, it's called the GAF platform, which is new. It shares it with the Tundra, and they're saying with the GX, I'm not sure, I guess that means the new GX, wasn't really sure, is 20% more rigid than the current frame. So that's pretty impressive. You know, they're saying overall it has more horsepower, it's a lighter vehicle, it has a more rigid frame. Those are all great things to hear. You know, they have reduced the weight by 441 pounds, mostly by adjusting the frame. So that's how they're coming up with that weight savings.
Designed for precision, it provides a pure, more seamless communication.
Now here, you'll notice that it has a really big screen on top. That's the 12.3-inch LCD screen that's used for your navigation. It's used for your camera system. It does have a 360-degree view camera system. And then you'll notice the camera down here, which is the 7-inch lower screen that's used for like your HVAC, your radio controls, probably your seat massagers, things like that. You know, I'll be honest with you, when I'm off-road and I'm bouncing around, I really prefer a more tactile experience with the buttons. But I know that most manufacturers are moving to the screen options. So it is what it is. They're keeping up with the current times. I actually really enjoy the look of this new interior. I think it looks pretty slick. It looks modern. Certainly looks more modern than the current GX. So I think what will be interesting to see, though, is if they take some styling cues from the LX and put it in the GX. We'll have to see. Only time will tell.
Between you and the road.
We're still going off-road. We're climbing mountains. We're rock crawling in a Lexus LX. Don't worry about the fact that it has running boards on it. It has fancy stitching. I can watch movies on my LCD screen. Ooh, it has navigation that I can zoom out on. Of course, we'll all be using our cell phones. I mean, it's a good-looking vehicle. It comes with this upgraded, I think they call it the executive package, where I can put my feet up. You know, I think that's something that we don't get to do enough as overlanders. We don't get to put our feet up. But at the end of the day, I can still blister through the desert. It looks like I'm in, I don't know, Moab or, you know, the desert Southwest. And then I can take my girl out in the desert. We can have a nice picnic. And then by the end of the day, I'm back in the city having dinner at a fancy restaurant. Sounds pretty good to me. I gotta back this up because I do enjoy the look on this guy's face. He looks like he just got out of the car and he's terrified. Like, I'm not sure if he thinks he left the iron on at home or if he just remembered, oh shit, I just forgot the champagne. Anyway, made me laugh. All right. Now, this one's interesting. I just noticed this. So this is a power lift gate, but for those of you aficionados of the Land Cruiser, it traditionally had a split rear gate, had a tailgate that would come down with I think like a 60% top that would come up. I always really liked that about the Land Cruiser. I wish the GX had it. I don't know. I guess they had to get away with it. That's sad. I guess we should have a moment for the tailgate.
Because there are those who follow maps. And those who draw them.
There are those that follow maps, and there are those that draw them. I don't even understand what that means, to be honest with you. I don't know which one I am. Most of the maps I look at are already drawn for me, so I don't know. I do kind of like the Lexus logo on the back. It's kind of growing on me. Like I said, overall, the looks are pretty decent. That grille has got to go.
Luxury that knows no limits.
All right, so there you go. You know, pretty decent looking rig, right? Like I said, it's an evolution, not a revolution in the LX. I am glad to see that they upgraded the motor. I like the more modern styling. I think it's got some interesting options. It does come with the adjustable ride height, the AVS system. It has the multi-terrain select, which is the crawl control, the Down Hill Ascent Control, the 360-degree view camera system. So clearly it comes equipped with some options for off-roading, but let's be honest, at $90,000, not a lot of us are going to be taking this thing off-road, at least not for the next 10 years. So anyway, it'll be interesting to see how many people buy this thing and adopt it for off-road use. There will be some, right? But I don't think we'll be seeing a lot of these. But I think the more interesting thing is what we might see from the LX that makes its way over to the GX. So anyway, hope you enjoyed this. Let me know what your thoughts are on the new LX. Do you love it? Do you hate it? Why? Let me know. And as always, please click that subscribe and notification button. You can also check us out on txgxoverland.com. And as always, have a great time out there. We will see you on the trails.